Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At Home Dad Network. My name is Brock,
My name is Danny.
and we are here to talk about life as stay at home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. No worry about my weight, got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet, cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. Hope you've had a great week. It's been a week of prepping for the first day of school for us and just a whole lot of other excitement. My kids got baptized on Sunday. If you saw my posts or whatever, you would know, you would see that. But it was an exciting week, just getting prepped for everything, making sure all the school supplies were in the bags and going and meeting the teachers and all that fun stuff. So, yeah, that's where we are in life right now, which it's kind of nice to sit here in a quiet house with just me and the dog right now, just getting to talk to y'all. And yeah, there it is.
Just spoiled almost.
I guess that's one way to look at it. So I'm sure there's some dads out there that are gritting their teeth going, I wish I had my kids in school right now.
And the other side of it too is those who are missing their kids now because this is their first time going to school, is their first time with that kid.
Yeah.
I've talked to a lot of the dads this time of year every year, and there's always several that are like, yeah, I mean, it's good, but I'm going to miss them. Or what if something happens? Or, what if they need me? Or how are they going to navigate this, that, or the other? What if they do this? And it's really, I love it personally. I don't love that they're experiencing those particular feelings, but I love that they have them because it comes from their love of their kids,
Yeah. Yeah.
enjoyment of them and wanting to be around them. Now, I will say, these days, I think it takes me at least 5 days before I miss my kids. Pretty sure.
I'm not like that.
Yeah,
I'm not wired like that.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm ready for them. But the thing is, too, is they're so involved with everything I do. I mean,
Yeah,
everywhere I go, everything I do, I have a child or I'm a dad. That's my life right now. And it's great. But yeah,
definitely.
handle solo quiet time. I'm ready.
Yeah. Well, I mean, definitely that first drop off is always interesting. For me, like you could like Ruby's in fourth grade, so like this is old hat to her, and so we will go around to the back of the school to drop off like where we normally do, and I'm like, all right, you gotta exit out on the right side. She's like, I know, and I'm like, okay. And
Yeah.
she, leans over the chair, gives me, or leaves over the car seat, gives me a hug and hops out, never says even goodbye, and just boom, she's gone. And I'm like, all right, like that, I totally get that. Like she's ready to go, which is nice. And luckily I was in the front of the lane. So it was like drop her off and go instead of being behind somebody who's like, bye,
Right.
bye, like trying to like dab their tears as they say goodbye to their kid. Like it's always fun to
Yeah.
be like behind that car.
I don't
Yeah.
pull away until my kids are in the school or they're in the care of a teacher at least. I just
Oh.
wait. I'm that guy. I really am. And I did it yesterday, drop off at band, and this lady pulled up behind me really fast. You could tell she had things to do. And she's in an Audi, not like a R2, whatever, just like a nice fast car. And she comes zipping up behind this old man in a Suburban. And I'm just like, I'll pull forward a little bit, let you go around me. But I'm going to wait until my daughter is in that school because she's going into the high school for band practice. There's nobody there. I mean,
Mm.
there's people inside. You can see, like in the distance, there were cheerleaders practicing. I'm like, okay, so I know somebody's there, but yeah, I'm going to
Yeah.
wait. I'm
Oh
going to
yeah,
watch.
that's definitely a lot different than we pulled up to like a crowd of people outside, like welcome back to
Oh, yeah.
school and
See,
like
if
all
they're
that
in
kind of
that
stuff.
crowd, like the teachers are there, yeah,
Yeah.
go. Yeah, I
Oh
don't have
yeah,
to
there
worry about
was
them.
there was principals and teachers and like all kind. I'm like,
Yeah,
peace out.
right. Yeah, you don't.
Have a great day.
The best thing you can do is to get out of the way in that situation too. When drop your kids off
Yeah.
because they need to understand they're fine without you, and I'm in a good place where people are going to take care of me. So
Well,
yeah,
and
that's the best way to do it for that.
I also recognized so like the upper school kids, they get dropped off in the front of school, but like I don't like to swing in there and then try to go around back because then you're just doing this crazy figure eight loop.
Mhm.
It's just, it does not work. And so I dropped Ruby off first. And as we were doing that, I looked at Hezekiah and I'm like, do you want me to just drop you off in the front? And he's like, yes, please. And I'm like, all right. Like, granted, he might, he's going to cut some time out of where, he's going to be from one place, but he would have to walk like basically from one end of the school to the other end of the school because of how the place is set up. And so I dropped him off. And I even said to you, because I had to bring like some of his like medication in. And so I was like, hey, I'll drop you off and then I'll go park and then I'll come in so that like we're not walking in together. And he's like, okay, that's fine. And he's not like that kind of kid, but at the same time too, like I want to give him his space and everything. So I was like, yeah, this gives him time to like get through the lobby and get out of sight before I walk in. And, people aren't like, oh, Hezekiah's dad's in here with him. Like kid's got enough things going on. He doesn't need that, that extra bit. So, but yeah, so everything worked out well for that. And it was funny. Like when we were driving, he was like, oh man, I forgot my schedule. And I'm like, what? I was like, why didn't you leave it? I was like, we were there 2 days ago at school, like setting up your locker. Why didn't you leave it in? Oh, I didn't think about that. I'm like, everything that we brought in the bag was supposed to be taken out and you come home with an empty bag. And he's like, I don't know, man. I'm like, and you couldn't put it in your book bag? Oh, I just totally forgot. And I'm like, well, where is he? He's like, I'm not sure where it's at the house. I'm like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
That's
And then so I pull into the Ace Hardware parking lot to turn around. He's like, oh, we don't have to go back for it. I'm like, dude, it's the first day of school. You cannot tell me, and I do not even agree or believe that you have your entire schedule memorized. No, absolutely not. I'm like,
no way.
I'm trying to set you up for success and you're just sabotaging it, kid. Like I straight up told him that. I'm like, you're just trying to sabotage yourself, man. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, I don't need an apology. I'm like, just realize, like, I got your back and like just accept
Step
that.
into it. Yeah.
And so, so we swung it back home. It was only a few minutes drive or whatever and got he looks at me when we rolled. Oh, this is the best part. He looks at me when we roll up to the house, like, you going in? And I'm like, take the freaking house keys, go in. I'm like, I have no clue where this paper's at.
What am I supposed to do? I hope it magically appeared. Come on.
I'm just like, for the love of God. So he goes in and gets it and comes back and he's just quiet the entire time. Is like that losing basketball team is like, I'm not going to say anything the whole bus ride home kind of deal. And so everything went well or not. So not nothing crazy. They also too got themselves up with no problems at 5:40 in the morning. So that's a huge golden star check mark.
Absolutely.
And we're ready to go by they literally were ready to go by 6:45. And I'm like, dude, we don't leave for another half an hour almost. But they were,
but still,
they've taken it upon themselves to come to the agreement that they're going to make their lunches for the most part the night before.
Nice.
Everything prepped.
Well done.
And all this is because they changed the start time for the upper school. They moved it up 15 minutes. So now it's like a 7:45 start for him and an 8 o'clock start for her. And so they're just like, all right, we'll get all this stuff around.
I could see
which
that
is
being
huge.
Helpful.
Yeah, very helpful. So, and I didn't realize this. He usually during the summer gets up at 7 because he has to take his meds. A few days ago, he changed his clock to 5:40 and was getting up at 5:40 to just to get up and be ready.
Yes.
And he just and I was like, what? I'm like, all right, 12-year-old, way to go.
Yeah. We are 2 weeks ahead. We have 2 more weeks before they go back to school. And this whole week started. You get up at, unfortunately, 2 of them have to get up at 6, but at least it's not 5:40. But it means I got to get up at 5:40 to make sure I'm awake enough to wake them up if they don't get up. And then the other one is 7:20 when she has to get up. But anyway,
I get up by 6.
We're in it. Yeah. I mean, there's no way. There's too much going on. And we've started back to bedtimes, which nobody liked that. I did tell my 16-year-old, I'm like, I'm not going to give you a bedtime. This is going to be something you have to take care of. You know when you have to get up, and I'm not going to wake you up this year. You're going to have to get yourself up, and you're going to have to get your sister up because y'all are riding the bus together.
Yep.
And he was on it. It was amazing. Monday, he was up. 30 minutes later, he got his sister up. Everything's cool. Yesterday, not so much.
Hey, man, you got your
But
forward progression and your
right,
linear regression.
right. But it's still 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So I'm okay with it. But and he was upset and he was upset at himself and what have you. And I'm like, look, this is why we do this. We got to get back in the rhythm, right? This is the best way is to have that prep. But I love it that Hezekiah did it himself.
I know, right? I
Just
was
said,
impressed.
I'm going to need to be ready for school. And this is how I just bravo, kid. Bravo. If you hear this, Hezekiah, for whatever it's worth, this man you've probably never met, I don't think I've ever met you kids, is
Mm-mm.
very proud of you. Well done, sir.
I will let him know when I pick him up.
You should make him listen to this just because.
There we go.
We need
Yeah.
more views. When
Although he'll be like, "Oh, you're dishing on me about like my ability to like forget things too." Like, yeah,
no,
no, we're gonna leave him.
skip that part.
Skip that part. We're just gonna shift to this like 20 seconds right here. It's
Yeah.
all good. This is
Yeah,
all you
that'll
need
be
to
his
hear.
clip, his personal clip. You pull it out and edit it out and go, here you go, buddy.
Yeah. So that's what's going on right
Yeah.
now in the household, and it's nice to just be kind of getting into that swing of things. But alongside with that, the other thing that has gone on was and I think this is a poignant thing because at this point, like if you're a dad who, you got time, especially like, your kids get off to school or whatever, it's a great time to like set up these kind of appointments. But I did mine yesterday because it just that was the time that worked, but the kids stayed home. I went and had like my annual checkup and talked to my family doctor, and there were a list of things to talk about that I was not completely looking forward to talking about because Corey and I had sat down and had gone through some like just kind of evaluating where I am with things mentally and a bunch of stuff like that. And in the end, there was like a list of things that I'm like, all right, I guess it's that time to have some of these conversations. Like, for instance, I'm 45, so the colonoscopy conversation comes into play. So, talking about that and, getting that scheduled for some point later this year because we've already met our deductible because I have, high interest children or child for
Yeah.
that matter. So,
Yeah, get all the stuff scheduled
yeah,
this
so
year.
that
Yeah.
conversation, I have this weird, apparently a cyst on my second toe on my left foot that I'm gonna have to have surgically like
Mhm.
taken off, which woohoo. So that was another thing I had to talk to him about. And then the third thing was sleep apnea. Wife's concerned about that. And if like you would be the guy to talk about because I know like I think we've talked about a little bit of that before in the past, like as far
Mhm.
as like just I know the conversation has come up even on Discord too. This, do you have sleep apnea? What does that look like? And then also to like, what's the mask? What is that exactly? Like, I don't even know
Yeah,
what that,
mask. Yeah.
yeah.
A full
So,
face is generally, or I mean, I do a full face, but a lot of people just do the nose. I can't do that because I got used to a full face for whatever reason. But yeah,
yeah,
it's just like this.
which I'm not
You get
looking
used to
forward
it.
to, but yeah.
Nah,
So I,
let me say, welcome, brother. Welcome.
yeah, I have a feeling I'm joining a very like club of
Yes.
many as far as
There,
especially who come to Home Dad Con too.
yeah, there are, well, we are legion, man. It's everywhere. And every time I hear like, especially it's the younger dad, no, not younger, I guess younger than me for sure, but like about 40-ish. A
Yeah,
lot of that's the time, a lot of times when men realize, yeah, something's going on, I need something else. And whether for most people it's sleep apnea, but you could do little strips or whatever, sometimes that helps. But with sleep apnea, you realize how tired you are after
yeah,
that first, it'll take a couple nights for you to get used to it and sleep well. And your first night may be garbage, but like now, and I've said this before, I put my mask on and I'm asleep in under a minute. And
mm,
I sleep all night long unless I have to get up to go to the bathroom or one of the kids comes in or something. But if nobody disturbs me, I will sleep a straight 12 hours if I can. That's if the sun doesn't come up, wake me up, no alarms, no kids, whatever, but it's easy. And that first week, because the doctor that was doing it for me, she said, so how tired are you on a scale of 1 to 10? Like, I don't know how you would scale what 1 and what 10 is. Like 1, I'm never tired. 10, I'm always tired. So 10 and a half, I guess. And she goes, yeah. And I'm like, okay, so I could lay down on your floor right now and go to sleep with the lights on.
Yep,
Just right now. I could
that's
just,
me.
yeah. Right. And she said, yeah, that's probably it. We'll get you in for a sleep test. And yeah, I was basically almost dying every night. The oxygen level was so bad. The lady's like, well, we want you to move forward with this as quickly as possible because this. And I'm like, am I a zombie or something? Do I die? Some of the, she said, you're very close. Your body gets to the point where you're just about to pass out from not having enough
Oh my
oxygen, and
goodness.
it
Yikes.
wakes you back up, right? And that's
Yeah.
what it is, and that's why you snore, and that's why you sleep so bad. So, man, I know it may be weird, and it may be something you really don't want to do, but this is going to be so good for you.
I'll tell
You,
you how bad it
yes,
is. I just thought of this.
mhm.
This is really good. This is me telling on myself. So
That's what we do.
I'll be like, all right, kids, let's play some Mario Kart. And I can sit there, on the couch with my daughter next to me and literally fall asleep halfway through the race.
Yeah,
Still have my finger on the throttle going, and I'll like
right.
wake up I'm like, oh, I can't believe I'm still like on
Yeah,
pace to like finish in the top three. This is
smashing into the
crazy.
guardrail. Yeah.
But yeah, like that's probably one of the worst ones. Or just sitting there watching a show and there's a commercial break and I'll literally like nod off and my daughter's like, Papa, you're falling asleep.
Right.
So just stuff like that. Yeah. My wife was like, you're really snoring a lot here lately. And I'm like, well, I mean, I'm tired. And she's like, yeah, but it's like a lot. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, and then on top of it too, like, you're just kind of like almost passing out on the couch just randomly. And I was like, I mean, I'm tired. And she was like, yeah, but this
Right.
is a little bit more than that. And
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. So, yeah. So I went and had that conversation with the doctor and got set up. So I've got like all these referrals for things and getting that all scheduled. So that's going to be part of my week, getting that done. But the fourth thing that I talked about was more even mental health for me, which like I've been on anxiety and depression medication for quite a while. I've dealt with depression for decades myself and suicidal tendencies and things like that. And it's been a battle for a long time. And so he knows that. I've brought that up to him before, but 3 weeks ago when I had scheduled the appointment, I had probably one of the worst couple of days that I've like
Mm.
had in a couple of decades. And that was sort of what prompted all the conversation with my wife and everything. But I mean, I was at one point like, not that there was no like I'm going to do this, but the conversation was around like, what's going on? How are you dealing with this? Are you in a place where you are considering checking out forever for good? No, is that something that, like, do you already have like some sort of plan concocted on that?
Mhm.
Like we were having a very serious conversation and, I had stated with her, I was like, and she knew this from when we got together. I was like, I've kind of always had, if I was to do this is how I would do it type
Mhm.
of situation. But at the same time, like I have other things that get brought up in the conversation in my head before I get to that point. So things like, I don't want to put my kids through this. I don't want to put
Mhm.
my family through this. I don't want to put my wife through it. Like
Yeah.
I've seen how like other families have had to deal with it. Like these are the things I'm living for, even
Mhm.
though like I feel like total shit right now.
Yeah.
And also,
Whatever reason you need, whatever reason you need.
yeah,
That doesn't, I mean, my dog will be sad. That's fine. That's fine. Use that. Lean on that. So, yeah, I love that you have that. Sorry to
yeah.
interrupt, but
No, you're fine. So, yeah, so I was telling him about that and that, like, yes, like there have been things in my head where it's like, screw it, I'm done. But at the same time, too, it's like immediately, like, nope, like these are the things, these are what we're focused on right here, like,
mhm.
and staying on that path. And so I was telling him about that. And we got to talking about, like, okay, like, do I need to up your med dosage? Like, is that what it is? I'm like, I don't think it's that. I don't think that is at all. And he's like, all right. And he's like, I said, this past year's been really hard for me. Like, just
Yeah.
all the things going on. And he was like, well, he's like, I would say that based on that, he's like, you are dealing with some very heavy grief just due to everything from what Hezekiah has gone through for the year
Yeah.
and the things that you're learning about him and maybe the things that he can't do or things that you thought he was going to be able to
Right.
do, or maybe it's going to be more difficult now for him to get to that point. And then, the things that happened with my mom and just, I mean,
Yeah.
she's doing great. Just to give you an update on that too, like she's
Thank you.
actually like walking around the house more. My dad told me she's actually walking around the house without a walker, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So she's doing really well. She came down here actually for a checkup with the surgeon and walked across the office floor, and the doctor or the surgeon was just like, "Oh my gosh, like
Nice.
wow, like
Nice.
what an amazing thing to witness."
Yeah.
So, yeah. But still, like there's still things that weigh on me about just that situation.
Well, yeah, even though she's fine now, I mean, I don't know how you respond to this, but a lot of people will just bottle themselves up until the emergency is taken care of, until you know what you need to feel. Like, okay, I'm feeling all these things. I can't deal with that right now. I've got to take care of my partner, my children, my mom, my dad. I've got to do
Yeah.
all these things and I have to hold it together. And so when they reach that point where there is a conclusion where, okay, yeah, she's great. Why am I falling apart now? Well, because, and you're saying this, I think you're building up all this stuff and you're holding it as long as you can. And then it has to come out.
Right.
And
Yep.
this was your GP that said this? Just your regular doctor?
Yeah, our family doctor,
What the
our family
crap, man? That is awesome.
Yeah, we have a
Because
great family practitioner. He's
so many
amazing.
GPs would have no idea what was going on, no idea what grief is, no way to make the correlation. I love that for you, but I
Yeah.
didn't mean to run off on that. But I
Nope,
wanted to
you're
make
fine.
that point because they're
Yeah.
not trained specifically as a therapist, counselor, psychiatrist, any of that, but they have the understanding that we are a whole person.
Yeah.
We
No,
have these things and it affects us physically.
He's fantastic. We actually
Yeah.
found him because we needed a pediatrician for Hezekiah when he was born. And
Yeah.
so and Corey had started going to see him prior to being pregnant actually. And so like
Wow.
we've been with him for like I don't know, 14 years maybe.
Wonderful.
And he's about my age, honestly. So he's actually got kids that are close to Hezekiah's age. But like, I mean, he's even been to the point where he's said, Hezekiah, if you ever just want to come talk about what's going on, like I'm more than happy to like sit down and talk with you.
Nice.
So like he's very open about that. I mean, we have such a relationship that yesterday I was telling him about my toe and I was telling him about how much Corey loves to be the Dr. Pimple Popper without the doctor attached to it, and was trying to like get in there to the cyst, which we didn't know that's what it was at the time. And I told him like, yeah, she's tried on like two separate occasions to do this and we've done all this stuff. And he's just like, tell her to stop. And I'm like, you tell her to stop, man. I was like, she sees it and she wants to go at it. And he's like, oh, I will. And he got up on my chart and he just sent her a one sentence line that was like, stop messing with Brock's cyst. It will not help. And then just put LOL after it. And so like
Thank
after
you
our
for
after
your
our
helping
doctor's
is not
appointment,
helping.
I sent her a text message and I was just like, you should check your my chart messages.
That's awesome.
So that's the kind of
fantastic.
relationship that we have with him. But yeah, like just talking with him about things, and he's like, would you want to talk to one of our behavioral health consultants? And I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm open to that. Like it's kind of one of those things you're like, yeah, no, that's not what's in your head.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I just explained all this to you. We had this conversation.
Right. I already told somebody.
Yeah. I'm like, if that's,
I don't want to tell another person.
but I'm like, if that's what if that's kind of what you're thinking might be like a good next step, I'm open to it. And he was like, all right. And so like he pulls up the schedule and he's like, as a matter of fact, he's like, actually one of our consultants has an opening at 1:00, and it was like 12:15 or something. And
What? Wow.
yeah. And so he's like, you can just
Don't tell people that, man. They'll hate you. Because it's 6 months or a year for us casuals over here.
Sorry.
Anyway.
Yeah. Like I said, we got a really good health situation.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. So like I had to get like a HPV shot and they took like blood draw for like cholesterol to like check all that kind of stuff. And by the time that was done, I went over to the other waiting room and it was like 10 minutes and I was in talking to the consultant about things. And
Nice.
I mean, I basically like just kind of divulged everything that I had previously told my doctor. Like it was funny. He didn't really like what he does is he typically records everything and then like types it up later, has somebody like
Hmm.
I think he uses like some sort of maybe AI or
AI
something,
overlords.
probably.
Yes.
Yeah, he uses
Heck
something.
yes.
I guarantee it. He's even used like Google Glasses before to do it, like where actually like it goes to a person that's sitting at a desk, like typing it out as that was going on for a while.
Nice.
So
Nice.
yeah, he's kind of like right there on like the cutting edge of things. So anyway, I went and talked to her and she was like, "Yeah, we could meet or I can get you some resources." I'm like, "I wouldn't mind like seeing like what the resources are outside of like these four walls here, just see if there's something else like that." And I'm just
Right.
it was nice to talk to her, but I'm like, I think I want somebody different to talk to. I don't know. It just there were things nothing she did that was wrong, but I was just like, I think I would feel comfortable sitting with somebody else
Yeah.
having more conversations.
And I want to say two things about that. One, that is the best thing to do. If you have the option and you're not comfortable with somebody, ask for somebody else or look for somebody else. That is 100% fine. That is
Yeah,
what you need to do because this is about you being able to be comfortable and to
yeah,
be able to trust this person and understand that they understand. And then secondly, they're trained to deal with that. They're
hmm
trained to deal with you're going to meet people that are just going to leave. They're not going to be want to, they're not going to want to do therapy or they're not going to want to do therapy with you or whatever it is. And they're trained that this is one going to happen and two that it's not about them, that they
yeah. And
can
she was very
so they're
forthcoming about
yeah,
that. She's like, "You're not
awesome.
hurting my." She's like, "If you choose to not meet with me," she's like, "that is not going to hurt my feelings at all. Like,
That's
I just want to basically be a
fantastic.
bridge for you to get where you need to go." And yeah,
Mhm.
it was nice to hear that as well. So, like I said, like it was a tough conversation. It was a tough just doctor's appointment and all with getting through all of that stuff, but it was good nonetheless. And two, like my doc had a shadow for the day. He had a medical student or whatever, and it was it's always like, is it okay if they come in? I'm like, yeah, I have no problem. Like, it's,
Yeah.
if you're involved with like a teaching thing, like, it's important. Like, he was even saying, like, when I showed him my toe, which was hilarious, he asked her, he's like, do you know what this is? And like, I didn't even look at her, and I could tell she was just like, "Oh crap, I'm being quizzed right now."
Yes, probably. I don't know.
But he was so reassuring with her. This is how good of a doctor he is. He was so reassuring to her that he's like, "I don't expect you're in like your third year of residency or something like that or whatever." He's like, "I wouldn't expect you to know like this right off the bat." He's like, even when you get into like you maybe like depending on what you went into specialized wise, like only certain specialized people are going to know what this is. And he just
Hmm.
seems to have a very broad swath of knowledge that is both broad and deep
Yeah.
with the things that he knows, which is another reason why it's amazing that the Lord like introduced us to him, because he's got probably one of the most craziest amazing patience in Hezekiah and all of his stuff. So, but yeah, like she was just like, "Oh, okay, I didn't know that's what it was." And yeah, so that day was it was good. Corey was very proud of me and made it very known when I got home that she was happy that I was willing to have those conversations.
Mhm.
They suck. I mean, it's not fun, It's not the thing that you like. I don't Most people don't like going to see a doctor in general anyways. Like I don't mind
Mhm.
talking to my doctor. He's great. Like, and of course most of the time I see him because I'm taking my kids in there for a different thing.
Mhm.
When it's you, it's a different type of scenario altogether. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it was good, but like I said, I walked away like I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I s- I put a lot out there. Just like, wow, like I kind of know what I feel like, but at the same time too, like I have some mixed emotions on like that whole experience, but it was good, it was more positive than it was negative. And I think that being able to like self-evaluate what's going on is something that I don't think I would have, I don't think I would be in the mental space that I am right now, especially with being an at-home dad, if I had not gone to Home Dad Con and heard speakers and talked to other dads who have gone through similar situations. Just going to that convention, and I know this is like a complete plug, but at the same time too, like I think it needs to be said that going there, like it will change your thought process
Hmm.
on how you look at yourself and then also too how you look at your fatherhood journey as well. But at the same time too, like it's one of those things where it's like the fatherhood journey has sort of like a tapering off over years, and when you get to where that happens, like you should be at a place where you've also been taking care of yourself the whole entire time.
Yeah.
Because if you are just taking care of everybody else around you, and then when they're gone, it's just like open up the curtains and it's just you, that flash of light that comes through the curtains on that is going to just like eat you up. And I just, that's probably my biggest like takeaway from any of the conventions, to be honest. And like I've
Hmm.
never sat in on a mental health breakout session. I've always gone to the breakout, like the other breakouts and stuff like that. And I think that the mental health breakout session is good, and there are guys that take, get more from it than others, and that's awesome. But I just there are other things going on there, and I think however you want to plug yourself in, that's what's going to help you. But I think for me,
Hmm.
just the mindfulness of things. I know, is it Derek Tetlow? Is that know that
The meditation.
yeah, like I know that he one year he did that like for everybody like before we dispersed at the end, and that was
Hmm.
amazing. Like to me, like that was definitely like an opening door for
Yeah.
like, oh wow, like okay,
And
like this was really
does it every
good.
year. He's coming
Yeah,
back to San Antonio. He was there last year. He did a breakout actually the year before in Cincinnati. And yeah, and
yeah,
it's amazing that you have all of these people that have this incredible knowledge that no one in your life ever even mentioned to you, really. You know,
right.
if it's like, wait, meditation, isn't that like for yogis out in Siberia? I don't know where, but no, it's for your daily moment of just mindfulness and being stilling your mind, being quiet.
Yeah.
And I tell people that give me any, you know, pushback on it. I'm like, cool. Samurai meditated every day. Most of the major martial organizations, other than maybe America, take time for that mindfulness, for that centering, that, I don't know what they do in America actually, because it never came up in that framework, but it's not something that you do because you're weak. It's
Yeah.
not something you do because you can't handle your life. It's something you do because you need to train your mind.
Yeah.
This is where we want to be. This is what I want to focus on. And this is what I need to do. Step out of the way,
Well,
get out of my own way.
I think even too from a faith-based standpoint, like for me, like just reading the Bible and seeing how like, when there were really heavy moments going on in the life of Jesus, like he would step away from everybody, all of the sound,
Hmm.
all the loudness that was going on. You got 12 people around you, like 12 little kids, just like
You know it.
these 12 are driving me nuts right now, and like I need to go just have a moment of quiet. Like he always, was like he was always
Hmm.
going to a quiet place. He was
Yeah.
always kind of basically like getting himself recentered and refocused, and just having that break to then come back to like, oh my gosh, there's a ghost walking across the water. He's like, you bunch of idiots, it's just me. Like I guarantee that's what it
I told you this was
I
going to happen. Why did you ever
yeah,
leave me?
exactly.
So,
So, but yeah, like I think for me, just from a faith background, like that is definitely the thing that I see is like, all right, like there has to be that point where you get refocused. And I just look back on like my dad, and like he doesn't have that, and you can see where like he gets super stressed out, and sometimes like sometimes I call him and like I can kind of pull information out of him and give him like a little bit of a chance to like talk about stuff like that. I
mm,
know my grandfather's like my the only like my dad's dad, was like a leader in the church and was very much into like spending time in the word and things like that. So like I know talking to him and hanging out with him, like he had a definite regiment and a sense of peace over him, being around him. And, just stuff like that. Like it's just the understanding of, figuring all that out, like, and being
Yeah.
in a good place. But yeah, that's basically all I got today.
That's Brock's story.
I guess so.
Everyone
Yeah, I guess
take
it's
some
just me
inspiration from
talking. Yeah, hopefully that just helps for people to have a little more just understanding. But
Absolutely.
aside from that, with it being everything else going on in the world, we got to go because
Yeah.
the bus is driving down the street.
I
Danny's
am
about to
running
run
late.
out the
Yep.
window, run out the door, chasing it. So,
Yep.
so yeah. So we will talk to you all next week, and you'll have a good one.
Good night, everybody.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.